Have you ever woken up at 2 or 3 in the morning?
Out.
Felt that strange sensation of being observed, and turned over to find your cat sitting perfectly still in the darkness, eyes wide open, staring directly at you, not blinking, not moving, just watching. It's one of those moments that can feel a little unsettling if you don't understand what's actually happening. And here's the thing. Most people laugh it off, call it creepy, and go back to sleep. But what if that silent nighttime vigil, your cat keeps over you, is one of the most profound expressions of love and instinct in the entire animal kingdom? Tonight, we're going to pull back the curtain on exactly why your cat watches you sleep, and what the science says it really means. Have you ever thought about what your cat actually sees when it looks at you in the dark? Picture this. The house is completely quiet, the lights are off, you're deep in sleep, completely vulnerable, completely unaware of your surroundings. And there, at the foot of the bed, or perched on the dresser, just across the room, your cat is wide awake, still, alert, eyes locked on you like you are the most important thing in the entire world. Because to them, you genuinely are. To understand this, you have to go back millions of years. Cats are crepuscular and partially nocturnal hunters by nature. Their eyes contain a reflective layer behind the retina called the tapetum lucidum, which amplifies available light so effectively that cats can see in conditions roughly 6 times dimmer than what humans require. In the wild, this meant that nighttime was prime time, the hours when small prey moved, when the world was theirs to navigate. So when your house goes dark and your cat's vision sharpens into full clarity, something ancient in them wakes up. But here's what makes the nighttime watching behavior so deeply meaningful. A study published in the journal Applied Animal Behavior. Science found that domestic cats demonstrate vigilance behaviors most consistently toward the individuals they have formed strong social bonds with. In other words, your cat is not staring at you randomly. It is specifically choosing you as the subject of its nighttime attention, which is a direct echo of a behavior mother cats perform over their kittens in the wild, watching, guarding, making sure nothing comes near. That image of your cat sitting motionless in the dark is not eerie. It is ancient maternal protection aimed directly at you. You are their kitten. You're what they are keeping safe. And doesn't that change everything? When you picture it. 2. But here's something most people never consider. Does your cat actually know you're asleep? And does it matter to them? Here's the scene. You've been asleep for maybe an hour. Your breathing has slowed. Your body has gone still. And your cat, who may have been curled up beside you or even in another room entirely, has now repositioned itself somewhere with a clear sightline to your face. They know. They absolutely know you're asleep, and research suggests that knowledge is exactly what triggers the behavior. Cats are extraordinarily sensitive to human breathing patterns, body temperature changes, and even subtle shifts in scent that occur. When we enter deep sleep, a study conducted at the University of Tokyo found that cats recognize their owner's voice and presence specifically, showing measurable physiological responses, elevated heart rate, ear orientation, and pupil dilation. When exposed to recordings of their owner compared to strangers, this attunement to you specifically doesn't switch off at night. If anything, it intensifies in the wild. A mother cat's alertness peaks when her kittens are at their most vulnerable when they sleep. When they can't run, when they can't call for help. That same neurological programming lives inside your cat. When you go to sleep, something in their instinctive mind registers your increased vulnerability. And instead of retreating, they move closer. They position themselves between you and the unknown. They stay awake so you don't have to. Think about that for a moment. Every night while you drift through your dreams completely unaware, your cat may be sitting quietly in the darkness, making sure the world stays safe around you. That is not a small thing. That is devotion translated through millions of years of instinct into the only language your cat knows how to use. 3. This one might be the one that surprises you most. What does your cat actually do while it watches you? You probably imagine your cat just sitting there staring blankly. But researchers who have studied feline nocturnal behavior using motion-sensitive cameras in family homes found something far more active happening. Cats during nighttime watching sessions regularly perform slow environmental scans of the room, position themselves near entrances and exits, and occasionally perform low, quiet vocalizations, small chirps or barely audible trills directed at their sleeping owners. Those tiny sounds? They are almost certainly rooted in the same vocalizations mother cats use to reassure their kittens. A soft trill is a check-in call. It says, "I am here. Everything is fine. You are safe." The fact that your cat does this while you sleep, knowing you cannot consciously hear it, tells you something profound about how deeply automatic this caretaking impulse actually is. It isn't performed for your benefit. It is simply what they do, as it is who they are when they love you. If this kind of content is making you see your cat in a completely new way, please take a second to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. There are so many more hidden behaviors we're going to explore together, and you won't want to miss a single one. 4. So why does the watching sometimes feel so intense, so focused, almost unsettlingly locked in? Set the scene. Again, you wake up, you open your eyes, and your cat is not just somewhere in the room. Your cat is inches from your face, pupils enormous, staring directly into your eyes with an expression that seems almost too focused, too intentional. And you feel it before you're even fully conscious that gaze. Why does it feel like that? Eye contact in the animal kingdom is almost universally a power behavior. Among predators, holding a gaze is a challenge. Among prey animals, it triggers flight. But between cats and the humans they are bonded to, prolonged eye contact functions entirely differently. Research from Current Biology by Karen McComb and her team demonstrated that slow eye blinking between cats and their owners functions as a signal of trust and positive emotional state, what behaviorists now call the cat kiss. But the intense, unblinking gaze your cat holds while you sleep is something even more primal than that. It is surveillance. Not threatening surveillance. Protective surveillance. Your cat is mapping your chest rise and fall, clocking every small movement, noting every change. It is the same hypervigilant attention a mother cat gives a newborn kitten in those first fragile days of life when everything could go wrong and she could not afford to miss a single signal. We're receiving that same quality of attention. That same fierce, focused care. The reason it feels intense is because it is intense. You are being watched over by an animal whose entire emotional architecture is wired to protect the ones it loves. That is an extraordinary thing to receive, and the next sign might explain why this protection specifically follows you into the night more than any other time of day. 5. Here's a question that cuts to the heart of this whole conversation. Why night, specifically? Why not during the day when you're on the couch or at your desk? During daylight hours, your environment is full of stimulation. Sounds like changes, movement at windows, the activity of daily life. Your cat is still attuned to you, but the world gives them other things to process. At night, the sensory landscape strips down to almost nothing. The world quiets, the variables reduce. And what remains? What becomes the single most important focal point in your cat's entire awareness? It's you. A 2019 study from Oregon State University confirmed that cats form secure and insecure attachment bonds with their primary caregivers. In ways that closely parallel human-infant attachment to mothers, cats with secure attachment showed increased proximity, seeking behavior in quiet, stimulus environments, meaning the quieter and more stripped down the setting, the more your cat is drawn specifically toward you. Nighttime is the most stripped-down environment your home ever produces, and your cat moves through it like a compass needle swinging toward magnetic north, always ending up pointed in your direction. This is also why so many cats will move if you move in the night. You get up for water, and 10 minutes later your cat has silently relocated to wherever you are now. They're not following out of habit. They're recalibrating. They are making sure their position in relation to yours is always one where they can see you, reach you, and if necessary, in their ancient instinctive mind, protect you. The bond operating in those quiet hours is not casual. It is fundamental. It is the deepest version of what you mean to them. 6. And this last one is the piece that ties everything together. What is your cat actually feeling in those nighttime moments? And what does it tell you about the relationship you have built? Imagine your cat in that quiet room. The world has gone still. The house is dark and calm. Your cat has settled somewhere near you, not touching necessarily, but present, awake, oriented toward you. If you could look inside that small, steady mind right now, what would you find? Research using fMRI imaging on cats has identified activation in the limbic system, the brain's emotional processing center. When cats are in close proximity to